There's an adventure inside all of us. Some of us live for that adventure. Others let it take them someplace new. Your adventure begins here at Wind River Resort and Casino. Your adventure begins here at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Is it working now? Can you hear me now? Ah, yes. Ah, lovely. You should be able to hear me now. Please, whoever is watching and whoever told me you couldn't hear me, please tell me you can hear me now. Robin Epperson Lee says we can't hear you. I did put a setting in here. It should be working. Based on what I'm seeing here, it should be working. So let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and assume it's working. Ah, yes, you can hear me now. Thank you, Robin. All right, let's start over, shall we? Here we go. Happy Monday morning to you. It's Monday. You got to love it, right? And people always say, oh, it's Monday. It's going to be a terrible day. Well, even though the show did not start the way I'd like it to, we're okay now. Everything's fine. And here we go. And those of you that appreciate the fact that I'm a one-man band and I'm doing the best that I can here are still with me. So there you go. Harold says, we read lips. There you go. All right, let's take a look at our camera now. This is looking out at Shasta Lake. This is coming in from Jones Valley Resort. Beautiful shot out there this morning. The wind is blowing a little bit this morning, especially for the north end of the valley. And the wind is blowing a little bit this morning, even out towards places like out towards the lake, right? Now, the visibility has dropped a little bit this morning in Eureka. There you can see it's at 6-mile visibility. So we are seeing some low clouds, a little bit of fog out there, not necessarily in Crescent City, though. You got clear skies. Beautiful shot looking out there this morning, coming out at Harbor District. All right, now you're saying the screen is frozen. Eesh. Ugh. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's see if we can see it. Ah, okay. It looks like it should be working now. Yeah, I see it working now based on what I'm seeing here on my end from the official live channel. So hopefully, it's not frozen for everybody. Well, what do you say we move forward and we start with our Krueger's Quick Cast, shall we? For those of you that want a quick look at the forecast, Here you go. All right. Thank you, Tim, for confirming that everything's all good. All right. So we're actually starting off with some haze, some smoke in some areas here. I don't think it's quite smoky that we're seeing here. That observation doesn't seem to be 100% accurate. Although if you live in Trinity County, let me know if you are seeing some haze or smoke. But as of right now, I don't think there's much out there, if any. Most of any smoke that we would be looking at this morning would be in Modoc County in parts of the Eastern Mountains, which in particular would probably be around Lassen County. All right, we have a heat advisory for pretty much all the areas in orange. Now, notice they're all at very different time frames, right? The heat advisory is for today for the north end of the valley. The heat advisory west of that for Trinity County, Western Siskiyou, Del Norte, Humboldt is for tomorrow through Thursday. And the heat advisory for Lassen and Plumas counties and even eastern Modoc County, that's for Wednesday through Thursday. So it's all different timing. Bottom line, it's going to be hot. Ugh. I fat fingered something, so now things aren't going to work. Here we go. We'll get back to working. What a morning. All right, take a look at your satellite, and there you can see we got high pressure. It is coming on in. And, August is coming in hot, folks. We saw a high of 106 degrees yesterday, the day before, August 1st and 2nd, and it's going to be even hotter. I think today's the peak of the heat wave, though, and then temperatures start to slowly drop after that. Taking a look at Futurecast. So, Tim Moore, where exactly are you? Remind me. You say it's smoky there. I'll look out. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. Thank you, Tim, for letting me know. And there you can see we've got the even for the coast, you're not going to be looking at much in the way of fog, plenty of sunshine. All right. This will kind of get me my bearings straight. I'll get a little bit of a break here. This is Monday. We've got our Mindy's water safety tips coming in from certified ISR swim instructor. And what Mindy really wants to illustrate this week is that there are a couple of habits that you as a parent can get into. 3 habits, actually, in particular, that are really good for just a reminder of keeping your kids safe around the pool. So here you go. Here is this week's Mindy's water safety tip.
Hey, Weather NorCal. Water safety doesn't have to be complicated. Here are 3 simple water safety habits to help prevent drowning. Number 1, teach children to ask permission before entering the water. 2, put away all pool toys after swimming to make sure you're not tempting children back into the water. And 3, if you have a child that isn't water safe yet and is reliant on a flotation device, keep that device on them until you've reached a safe location where they no longer can access the water. Small habits like these just take seconds, but they can help prevent a tragedy from happening, especially when paired with other layers of protection. I'm Mindy O'Dell with Reading ISR, reminding you that drowning is preventable and every child deserves to be safe in and around the water.
All right, thanks again to Mindy for her advice. Great advice here when it comes to those habits. And by the way, if you're impressed with her advice and her knowledge of swimming safety, that's because she's a certified ISR swim instructor in the Reading area, one of the only. And it is the most effective and by far the safest way for your child to learn how to swim. So if you're curious about what she does, what ISR swimming instructor means, all of that, go to readingisr.com to learn more about it. I think you'll be impressed. It's very impressive. Swamp cooler. If you have a swamp cooler, you may have a hard time cooling off. I mean, 80 degrees is obviously better than 108, but you're going to stay around 80 degrees as far as that swamp cooler output. So the swamp cooler, even though it's very dry, because you need the dry conditions, the hotter the temperature is, right? The harder the time, the harder it is for that swamp cooler to really cool things down. So they can be very effective in cooling things down, but when we start getting into this more extreme heat, it does have a harder time keeping up, even though it is still very dry out there. All right, let's take a look at the temperatures out there for today. Yeah, 108 for Reading, 103 for Willows. We're talking about 106 in Chico, 91 in Alturas. There's the smoke that we are seeing in Modoc County. Of course, we got the confirmation coming in from Tim Moore up in Modoc County and Lookout. So some of that smoke should be working its way southwestward here throughout the day, which we'll get into here in a second, looking at our fire weather outlook. All right, here's a look at our temperatures for tonight. It's mild. Temperatures in the low 70s for the valley and in the 50s for the higher elevations. Although places like Weaverville, 64, 63 degrees for Trinity Center, Etna, about 61, Hoopa, 64, and even mid to upper 50s for the coast. So let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. Now for the valley, temperatures slowly dropping, right? So you got 104 to 105 Wednesday, Thursday, but then another spike in our temperatures Friday, Saturday. So a little bit of a mini roller coaster ride. Now I put the word haze in there for Redding and Red Bluff because some of that smoke could work its way into the Redding area, especially the north end of the valley. But I don't expect it to be really bad. I don't expect it to be really poor air quality. Not like what we're seeing, at least in the Modoc County area with the smoke that they're seeing there. So the farther northeast you go, the more dense that smoke will be. All right, so we take a look at the coast. Temperatures low 70s today, tomorrow, back in the 60s by Wednesday, Thursday. Again, that roller coaster ride with these temperatures going up and down, not only for the valley, but even for the higher elevations as well. We got smoky skies for Modoc County, even parts of Lassen County as well. But I think most of the smoke right now is in the Modoc County area. So let's take a look at the fire weather forecast. And we start off with where the fires are in our area. And it's generally to the east, right? Lassen, Plumas County, and just to the south of that as well. The 3-1 pit fire, as of the 31st, so the last day of the month of July, 99% contained. We haven't received any new reports for the 3-1 fire or the Loomis fire either as of July 31st. 99% containment. The Biscar fire is 100% contained. We probably don't need to be reporting on this much anymore, but I wanted to show you something. We talk about the fact that we really haven't seen a lot of fires here in Northern California. Great news, right? But take a look at our neighbors to the north, especially in northeastern Oregon, into Washington, Montana, Idaho, even into Nevada, seeing those fires. But most of those fires are to our north. For the most part, we've done pretty well. We've been able to dodge most of that smoke. However, all it takes is that northerly flow of winds, especially in the upper levels of the atmosphere, that can blow that smoke in our region. So let's take a look at that. There it is this morning. There it is where we're seeing most of that smoke. It's the moderate smoke, kind of the yellows and oranges in there. Some of that's going to work its way and progress southwestward. So I think places like Redding, Red Bluff, maybe Corning, seeing the potential for maybe a little bit of haze smoke. The farther north you go in the valley, I think the better the chances. So could you even get that faint smell of smoke in parts of the valley this morning? Not out of the question. But I think most of that is going to be to the north and east. And then the farther south you go, the sooner the chances, the farther west you go as well. Then you can see conditions do improve later this afternoon and evening and even going into tonight. We'll have to watch for tomorrow for the potential for more smoke, especially in Modoc and even northern Lassen County. Now, the winds are a bit breezy this morning in some spots, and we saw that even for Lake Shasta, right? Out at Jones Valley Resort, we saw those winds blown with the American flags blown off in the distance. But you can see this afternoon, the winds aren't going to be much of an issue. We go into tomorrow afternoon, the winds aren't going to be much of an issue. They're picking up a little bit for Wednesday and Thursday afternoon, but not a big deal. So there you can see we've got 15 to even 20 miles per hour. Again, nothing major. So let's take a look at the fire weather risk and the humidity. Now, the humidity are the numbers on your screen, and the fire weather risk is the color coding. So let's go into this afternoon. Single digits, low teens, even for Trinity County. Look at Trinity County, down to 11%, Etna 12%, even Hoopa about 22%. So we are definitely seeing that elevated fire weather risk. But what we're seeing here is nothing unusual. Partially, these humidity levels are so low is because it's so gosh darn hot out there, right? We go into Wednesday, we go into Thursday, we're in that elevated fire weather risk, but not getting within the red or even purples, which is going into that very high to extreme. All right, so that's essentially what we got going on with that. Also want to show you this. This is for this upcoming Thursday and Friday. This is essentially for the heat that we're expecting to see, along with the very low relative humidity numbers. That's what the B really stands for, is that conditions are prime for fires to spread rapidly should they start. So this is what it's looking like for Thursday, Friday. This is something we've got to keep our eyes on very closely. Now, I showed you the latest on the fires, what's going on with the percentage, all of that good stuff, right? I put together a web page at weathernorcal.com That's a one-stop shop for all the fire information that you need. Just go to weathernorcal.com, click on where it says fire danger, and you're good to go. You got all that information right there. Just at a quick click. Right? Take a look at Reading, our Divine Sky Cam. We're really not seeing much in the way of that haze. You can see maybe off in the distance there, looking to the north, a little bit of that haze, but not very smoky. And I just got confirmation from Tim saying, yeah, it's like a haze up there in Modoc County. So really not that smoky, I guess, more like a haze. But there you can see the wind blowing this morning. Yeah, wind is blown out at Shasta Lake at Jones Valley Resort. So yeah, a bit of a breeze this morning for some of you. Let's take a look at Lake Shastina. Let's see if the camera is moving. See if we have that live movement in the camera. See if we can see the trees blowing in the wind or anything like that. I don't see that, but beautiful shot nonetheless coming in from the Lake Shastina Golf Resort. All right, this is looking at Soda Ridge. And you've got a look at Mount Shasta there. A little bit of haze off the distance looking north into Oregon. There you can see Lassen Volcanic National Park. No haze there, just blue skies actually, turning out to be a gorgeous start to the day there. Looking at Lake Oroville. There you can see the lake. I believe there's some sunny skies out there this morning. This is looking at Highway 99 at Neal Road. Traffic is flowing along, moving along there. This is Crescent City Harbor District. I mean, come on, beautiful, right? Looking at that beautiful clear skies you got there this morning. Of course, that's going to be indicative of what you're going to see here for today. Bald Hill West, looking down at Hoopa Valley. You can see they've got no fog there, just sunny, clear skies. Fort Jones, looking at Scott Valley. You've got the clear skies there as well. Well, Coffee with Krueger would not be possible without our sponsor, and that would be Wind River Resort and Casino.
Get ready to laugh until it hurts. The legendary Gary Owen is bringing his unfiltered, unscripted, and wildly hilarious No Hard Feelings tour to the Wind River Event Center Sunday, August 30th. Voted one of the most in-demand touring comedians in the country. This event is sure to make you laugh from the start. Tickets start at just $60 plus fees. For all the details or to snag your tickets, call 1-800-280-YOU-WIN. Your adventure begins here at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Once again, I want to thank Wind River Resort and Casino for their support of Coffee with Krueger. Without them, what you're watching here live would not be possible. And our sponsors in general, what we do here at Weather NorCal would not be possible. So I want to thank our sponsors. Here's our look at our headlines. A warming trend peaks today, tomorrow, somewhere within that time frame. We're going to be in a downward trend, though, by Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday before they start to go back up again toward the end of the week, Friday into Saturday. Overall, though, I'm not expecting any record-breaking heat. That being said, there is a heat advisory for different points of time or different days, just depending on where you are. Today for the valley, tomorrow through Thursday to the west, and Wednesday through Thursday to the east. Now, also to the east, there's an extreme heat watch for Thursday through Sunday. Bottom line, it's a hot start to the month of August. No big surprises. August, July, and August are typically the hottest months of the season. So there you go. We're here. We're in the thick of it, folks. All right, take a look at the ridge of high pressure that is slowly starting to build into our region. If you notice, it's generally centered over Southern California. But as we go through the next couple of days, it is going to kind of progress a little bit more to the north and east. But as a result, we do expect temperatures to actually drop a little bit as that cooler air to our north and west kind of squashes down at that ridge a little bit. But then that cooler air gets diverted northward. So by Friday and Saturday, that ridge builds a little bit stronger. It's not directly over us, but it will certainly be a lot closer than it's been for a while. And as a result there, temperatures are going to be hotter for your Friday and Saturday. But then check this out. We're actually going more into what we call a troughing type of pattern, or a trough. You see that cooler air to the north, that dip in the jet stream? That right there is a trough of low pressure. And that's what's going to allow our temperatures for next week to most likely drop below 100 degrees. So after a fairly hot start to August this week, and really even the past weekend, through all of this week, it's going to be hot. We're going to be looking at temperatures above normal. As I mentioned, no record-breaking temperatures, but especially by the end of the weekend and early next week, we're talking about temperatures dropping below normal. Take a look at the trend. You see how we're kind of peaking today in Reading? Temperatures slowly dip, 104 to 105 as we go into your Wednesday, Thursday, and then another little spike Friday, Saturday before temperatures dip again after that. Look at that. By Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 96 to 97. Now, what's crazy is if you talk to anybody else who does not live in Northern California, and you say, "Yeah, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be 96 degrees out." They go, "Are you kidding? That is really hot." Right? Most people aren't used to this type of heat. So when we can drop below 100 degrees in August and July, that's usually good, right? And a lot of it is psychological as well. Take a look at the lake levels, and yeah, Lake Shasta is starting to drop a little bit more and more. Everybody is. All the lakes are. Now we're down to 98% of the historical average. So yeah, it starts getting this time of the year. The lakes start looking a little bit more depressing because we are seeing more and more of that shoreline, but nothing unusual. You can see we're really mainly right around or just above average for the historically for the season when it comes to the water levels or the lake levels. Wave heights are starting off fairly high and have been high over the last 24 hours. There's a hazardous seas warning through 9 o'clock this morning, but that should be allowed to expire as those wave heights start to drop. North winds at about 20 to 25 knots. They again will subside through the afternoon with your waves from the northwest at 9 feet at 10 seconds. All right, so here's a look at your neighborhood forecast sponsored by Dignity Health and Grange Co-op. We've got those temperatures hot, right? In Trinity County, you're going to be 100 degrees or higher all the way through the weekend, but notice temperatures starting to drop, especially by the weekend. Taking to the coast, temperatures low 70s for Monday, Tuesday, back in the 60s by the end of the week and through the weekend. Up north, towards the inland areas, at least 100 degrees or higher through Friday, mid to upper 90s by Saturday and Sunday. For Siskiyou County, yeah, happy camp 100, but for the most part should stay in the 90s for most of you. Some of the higher elevations like Doris and Tennant, more like the upper 80s for today. Modoc County, you're in the upper 80s to low 90s, 91 for Alturas, 86 in Cedarville, and Aden about 89. Smoky skies today, maybe even tomorrow. Some haze, some smoke for your Monday, Tuesday, out towards parts of the eastern mountains, including, say, Bernie, Fall River Mills, Steubenville. Heading southward, places into Plumas County, I think you're going to see less and less of that smoke. It's hot in the valley today, 104 for Hamilton City, 106 out in Los Molinos, and there's Chico, the high of 106. Speaking of Chico, there's your 7-day forecast. Temperatures dropping slightly for your Tuesday, Wednesday, then going back up again slightly for your Thursday, Friday, even into Saturday, back down to the upper 90s by Sunday. 108 for Reading, 108 for Palisadro, 107 out in Red Bluff, and 102 for Lakehead. Looking at your 7-day forecast for Reading, haze. We're going to start to maybe see some of that smoke and haze try to move on in. Now, I don't think it's going to be a big deal, but don't be surprised later this morning to see some of that. And then you can see temperatures slowly dropping, 104 to 105 Wednesday, Thursday, then back up to about 106, 107 by Friday, Saturday, and then another dip in temperatures by a Sunday. So there you go, folks. It's it's a hot start to the month. And this is something I've been telling you about here, but over the last week or so, that it's going to be a hot start to the month of August. And that's what we've got going on. All right, so that's going to do it for us this morning. We're going to take a look at what national days it is. Not that one. This one right here. Let's see what we got going on here. All right, today is, as you may or may not know, you can't tell from the background here because, it makes it look like I'm in a studio in Reading, but I'm not. I'm in Baja, Mexico. And what you'll notice is I haven't been going to the green screen because I don't have a green screen here yet. So we'll get there eventually. But in the meantime, here's today's national days. National Watermelon Day. Now, this might be a reason we've been kind of putting it off, but there's some really good watermelon here in Mexico. So we may have to just get a watermelon to celebrate National Watermelon Day. National Grab Some Nuts Day. Okay, interesting. National Georgia Day. And National Hair Gloss Day. All right. Well, I think the one I would want to prefer to celebrate would be National Watermelon Day. So we'll go with that one, at least for me. But maybe you want to, eat some nuts. I don't know. National Georgia Day. If you live in Georgia, maybe. or maybe going to Georgia to celebrate. I don't know. Could be fun. Anyway, you look at it, it's going to be hot. So you may need some watermelon to help cool you off. Bottom line, right? That's going to do it for us this morning, folks. I'm going to leave you with a couple of cameras, starting off with our Redding Divine Sky Cam. Hey, I hope you all have yourselves a great Monday. I hope you have a great week. Stay cool out there. Stay safe. Be sure to check on the elderly, pets. Listen, here's the deal. We talk about how we're used to this type of heat, and it's normal. We don't need to over-sensationalize it, and I don't do that. You know that's what I'm all about here. I don't try to over-sensationalize the weather. That being said, 108 degrees, that's some pretty serious heat, folks. No matter how used to it you are, we've got to take the necessary precautions. We can't just say, oh, I'm used to it. No. Check on the elderly. Check on your pets. Check on young children. Make sure that they are properly hydrated and stay cool. You know, if you know somebody who doesn't have an air conditioning and has a swamp cooler can't keep you as cool, check on them. Make sure that they are staying cool and staying safe and staying hydrated in the works. This is that time of the year we need to watch out for each other. You may be happy and healthy and have air conditioning. Others don't, and you have to remind yourself of that. So there you go. All right, have yourselves a great day. Stay cool, and we will see you bright and early tomorrow morning right here on Coffee with Krueger. In the meantime, have yourselves a great day. We'll see you.
Thank you.